to prove it, I'm ready to do it, I can't be afraid now. Put me on the stage now, I'm ready to rage now. I feel like an animal stuck in a cage and I'm ready to break out. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. This time, like the last time, you better get ready to race to the top. I'm ready to do this, show you what the truth is. I step on the field, it's time to get real, I'm feeling so ruthless. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Yeah. So what are you afraid of? Those feelings are made up. Get in the game, your moment of fame, show them what you made of. It's time that we stand up, it's time that we man up. For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up. My time, nothing can keep me from reaching the top. This time, like the last time, I'm moving so fast, I'm ready to rise. I'm ready to throw down, it's time for the showdown. I'm ready to rise, don't be surprised, I'll take on the world now. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My town, my crown, we know what it takes to be reaching the top. We're reaching the top, we're reaching the top. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My town, my crown, we know what it takes to be reaching the top. We're reaching the top, we're reaching the top. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Turning the track up, I'll never go back down. Hand over my heart, I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop.
from the virtual Michigan International Speedway. Welcome, sim racing fans, to the second round of the NASRA Triple M Pulling Truck Series, the Motor City 160, live on Racecraft TV. Happy that you're all with us here on this beautiful Friday evening, wherever you're tuning in around the world. I'm your host, Joshua Lee. Alongside me in the commentary booth is Jordan Hicks. And Jordan, we are at one of NASCAR's fastest tracks. And in these trucks, it might be almost flat out the entire way through, but it is a challenge to get this track right.
You know, definitely, it's going to lead for some intense racing, intense battles, and I'm excited to get it going right here in Michigan.
And taking a look at the schedule for the season, we started at Texas 1 week ago. Robbie Richards able to grab the win there, but now we go to Michigan, and there are some wild cards on the schedule coming up, Jordan. We have the dirt track at Bristol. We have the Daytona Road Course. You look even further back into the schedule, Nashville Super Speedway, one of the newest tracks on the iRacing service, Chicagoland, Martinsville. There's a lot of challenging tracks that are on the horizon.
You know, definitely, and a lot of these drivers are really going to have to look forward to certain tracks they're used to, and so some are going to be used to some, and other ones, they're just going to have to throw their heads into it and hope for the best. So it's going to be an interesting schedule here tonight.
And you can catch every single round live here on Racecraft TV. Qualifying currently taking place here at the virtual Michigan International Speedway. 10 minutes on the clock for qualifying, and as you can see, we are just about crossing over the 8-minute margin there, as there's a handful of drivers currently on the racetrack, and we'll jump over to the race winner from 1 week ago, the 48 of Robbie Richards. That Mission 1 Esports Chevy Silverado was working really well for him 1 week ago in Texas. Jordan, we know he wants to go 2 in a row and keep this lead up at the top of the point standings.
And you know, definitely, but here at Michigan, you really got to be careful about your tire wear, because Josh, if you're up into that wall and you're running that high line, you really got to be careful, because it comes so fast to a point where you could get lost and you can end up actually rubbing the wall and messing up your time and even losing position when you're mid-race.
This race course also very multi-groove, and it has been multi-groove since it really came onto the iRacing service at the old legacy version of the Michigan International Speedway, and it's still true in this new version of the Michigan International Speedway, Jordan. These drivers can go pretty much anywhere from the bottom to the top, and it's a lane that works.
And you know, definitely, you could just be perfectly running down on that lower bottom line for a second and then instantly shoot up to the top, because your tires can be, no matter actually where they are, this track is just a challenge in general.
Robbie Richards comes across the line, 41.024. That's going to move him into P11 currently on the speed charts. Eric Zimmerman coming across the line. Cody Knott is coming down the back straightaway and gives us a good opportunity to take a look at the weather here at the virtual Michigan International Speedway. Mostly cloudy skies over virtual Michigan. And you can see the air temp and track temperature, 82 degrees and 101 degrees respectively. As Knott comes across the line, where is he going to be seated? He'll get seated up into, looks to be somewhere, actually. He is just taking his first timed lap, or his first lap. Unfortunately, did not count. We'll have to go around for another one. But taking a look at our Racecraft TV track facts as we take a look at Taylor Peacock coming across the start-finish line to complete another timed lap. Opened in 1968, Brooklyn, Michigan for the Michigan International Speedway. 2 miles in length, just about half miles shorter than its Daytona and Talladega Super Speedway counterparts. Also grabbing a look at the... We'll grab a look at the race analysis here in just a couple of moments. Mikey Williams coming on to the track. Cody Knott putting up a time only good enough for 17th, so the 26th will have to be racing from mid-pack if he doesn't get better on this lap, as he'll roar down the back straightaway. Diving into turns 3 and 4. We'll see if this lap time is going to improve anything for the number 26. And it looks like it is going to 39.180, but it doesn't look like that time is going to be allowed. He'll keep his fast time of a 40.616 out there on the track, as he'll get it slowed down on the back straightaway. And with 4 minutes left, still a handful of other drivers on the track. Brady LaBeouf now going to go for a fast lap in the 9. And he'll exit turns 3 and 4, using that outside line to get a good slingshot for this lap here in qualifying. NRE Power Systems on that car as we watch the 9 of Brady LaBeouf go to work down in turn number 1. Running that bottom line, getting a good run off of turn 2 down the back straightaway. And he'll race further down the back straightaway into turn number 3, and we'll see where he'll put up his time, if it is going to be rivaling those drivers at the front of the field. And across the start-finish line he goes. Where will it be for the 9? It's going to be a relatively good spot, roughly about mid-pack, 19th for Brady LaBeouf in the number 9. Unfortunately, couldn't get any further up the road there in that Chevy Silverado. He'll be in 19th for the moment. We'll see if he can improve on this lap time, as Raul Meza in the 93 going to exit the pit lane and get started for a flying lap. As time continues to wind down here in qualifying, it's Joey Duquette currently at the top of the field in terms of lap time. Keith Bradley coming across the line. He'll be in 9th, but not for long, as Brady LaBeouf is now going to hop up to the 9th spot off of his qualifying lap of 40.251 for the 9 of Brady LaBeouf. Tanner Marr in the 29. We'll see where he can throw up a lap time. Across the start-finish line, it looks like he will be going on to a timed lap right here as he dives it into turn number 1. Down the back straightaway, we'll see where the 29 is going to go on the speed charts. Dives it back into 3. Doesn't look like he's going to be tracking too well as he comes off of the corner. And we'll see where he is going to end up this time by at the line. And that is going to be 14th for Tanner Marr. A really good run for the number 29 machine, making his series debut here tonight as well. We'll see what the 29 will be able to do tonight. About minute 15 remaining here in qualifying, as just a handful of other drivers start to make their way across the line. Jordan, what are your predictions for tonight here at Michigan? Because taking a look at that race analysis, 80 laps total tonight. We'll have stage 1 ending at lap 20, stage 2 ending at lap 40. So the fuel strategy is also going to be relatively interesting, because they can make it through that entire 20 laps of the first 2 stages, and they'll need to make a green flag stop during that final stage to be able to make it all the way to the end.
And definitely. So, Josh, I'm probably going to pick debating on what he did last week. He actually didn't start the race. He got an EOL at the start, and I believe he got another one at the end of the race, coming down to the final few laps. So, Josh, I think I'm going to go with the 23 of Stephen Thomas on the win tonight.
He had a good run 1 week ago at Texas, looking to do that again here tonight as the clock will start to wind its way down here on qualifying, and we get ready to take a look at the starting grid for tonight's race here from the virtual Michigan International Speedway. And as the drivers take to the track, we will take a look at that starting grid here on Racecraft TV. Starting on the pole here for today's the Motor City 160, it will be Joey Duquette with a great lap time to move his way up to the top of the board. He will be starting on the pole. To his outside, it'll be Michael McKinnon on the front row, Mike Adamson, Taylor Peacock in third and fourth, and Jonathan Munda and Dane Hagen rounding out your top 6 on the starting grid. Down the rest of the order, starting in 7th, it will be Tanner Marr, Stephen Thomas in 8th, Dale Adamson in 9th, with Brady LaBeouf rounding out your top 10. Keith Bradley and Clint Mata share row 6, and down the rest of the order, Stephen Gregory, Kyle Hess on row 7. Robbie Richards rounds out your top 15. Last week's winner starting a bit far down the order here in the Motor City 160. Jesse Schrage, Devin Painter, and Dana Shepard rounding out the top 18 on the starting grid, and we continue to move down. Mikey Williams, Joe Nelson, Adam Newbert, Raul Meza, Steve Williams, and Eric Zimmerman rounding out the top 24. And rounding out the entire 30-car field, it'll be Cody Knott, Tori Thompson, Braden Bullock, Scotty Stevens, Bill Lester, and Brett Wilvers at the tail end of the field. 30 cars ready to take the green flag here from the virtual Michigan International Speedway. And they'll all be following behind that lead car of the number 16. Joey Duquette will be starting on the pole here and looking for a great result as well to continue to work his way through the points here in the NASRA Triple M Pulling Truck Series season. And the field is going to roll their way off of the pit lane, get up behind the iRacing pace truck, and we'll be seeing these drivers go racing in just about one pace lap. So Jordan, what are the main challenges these drivers are going to be facing here at the Michigan International Speedway? We've already talked about a handful of them, but these drivers now, they're going to go from practicing with just a handful of trucks on the track to 30 of them diving down into turn number 1.
You know, definitely, and I feel like a lot of people are going to get lost here tonight, so they're going to have to deal with some lap traffic. I'm calling it within nearing the end of the race, so I feel like that's going to be key. And then, Josh, we mentioned tires and fuel, so those are my picks for tonight's challenges.
The field will pace their way down the back straightaway here at the Michigan International Speedway. One more look at that weather before we get started, and you can see track temperature dropped a little bit as the cloud cover continues to move on in. 12 miles an hour, those winds. It is going to be a high wind whipping day here at the virtual Michigan International Speedway. Who is going to be able to tame those winds in a relatively well fashion is going to be who walks away with the race win here today. We're glad you're joining us for the Motor City 160. It's round number 2 of the NASRA Triple M Pulling Truck Series, live from iRacing's virtual Michigan International Speedway. The base car is down and away, and we are racing from virtual Michigan. Good start for Joey Duquette. He lost the lead for a moment, able to retake it out there on the track as they race back into turn number 1. It's Taylor Peacock now in second place. Adamson, McKinnon, and Munda behind, all trying to fight back as they work their way out of turn number 3 and onto the back straightaway. Top 3 starting to separate themselves from the rest of the field, and you can see Taylor Peacock shoving the 16 of Joey Duquette into the corner. Duquette going to be able to keep the lead for the time being. The Bolt Poppers Racing number 16, Oakland, Maine driver, trying to pull away from the rest of the field. Not able to do too much right now as Taylor Peacock is going to go back to the bottom looking for the lead.
And you can see he's trying to stick it down on that bottom of the inside line, and Josh, he seems like he gets the lead as this is going to heat things up for maybe a very tight battle for the lead coming up.
Right back to the bottom goes Joey Duquette, and you can see a lot of these trucks running a lot like they do at Daytona or Talladega. There's not too much of a draft, not enough to make it a draft pack, but enough of a draft that it is relatively useful, especially in these lower speed trucks compared to the NASCAR Cup Series machines. And they run down the straightaway. You can see them fan out 3-4 wide almost as they run down the front straightaway. Couple of cars in the grass. They come back up. They barely avoid an incident. One car going to go spinning down to the bottom. That looked like it was the 46, Dale Adamson, getting involved in this one. He was able to get it saved. We'll grab a quick look at the Racecraft TV replay, see exactly what happened here. They fanned out on the front straightaway. Then it looked like maybe the 39 of Dane Hagen came down into him. No, there were more cars happening in front of him. He gets tapped by the 13 of Michael McKinnon. The 29 of Tanner Marr also went way down onto the grass there. What happened here? McKinnon came down right into the 29, slams into him, and then comes right back up, and McKinnon just makes contact with the 49, and that set them going. Luckily, though, not a large incident, which means that we will stay green and right back up to the battle for the lead. It is Joey Duquette trying to pull away from everybody right now, with Taylor Peacock behind, fighting with Michael Adamson now back there in the second spot. They continue to fight. We'll go on a lap number 7 of 80 here. Joey Duquette doing an amazing job leading the way, trying to hold on to that lead for the time being. And he is going to do exactly that as everybody continues to fan out behind him. Handful of battles going on back there for the moment. As drivers continue to fight their way here at the virtual Michigan International Speedway, and you can see the battle starting to brew also a little bit further back for that third spot. Battle between the 00, Jonathan Munda, Michael Adamson on the outside. Munda also with pressure from Brady LaBeouf behind him, as they all run down back into turns 1 and 2 to the back straightaway. Still side by side, handful of rows deep here, about 3 rows deep. You can go all the way back to the battle for 8th place with Keith Bradley and Dane Hagen, and Stephen Thomas starting to poke his way into this battle as well, up 1 spot from where he started the day. Still side by side, that's Munda and Stephen Gregory in the 61 battling down into the corner. But everybody right now, Jordan, remaining relatively civil as we're going to come to 11 to go and roughly about halfway through this first stage. Laps starting to tick down, and the racing up here, the front's been phenomenal. We are still caution free. A lot of these drivers, except for that one incident we saw on the first lap, racing relatively clean as we see 3 wide further back here for the battle for third.
And it seems like everyone's very well confident with this track because it seems like it's given them some good luck per se, but you can see the 23 trying to fit his way as they're 3 wide going into 1 and 2. But like you were saying, Josh, these drivers are keeping it very clean right now, and it's really well because usually we're normally used to seeing a few wouldn't say complete wreck, but a few issues going on in that first stage, but everyone seems to keep it nice and straight as they're on the backstretch heading in 3 and 4.
Stephen Gregory in the 61 sitting there in third. He's going to join the battle for the lead. And look at Brady LaBeouf out there on the outside as well, looking to join this fray as well. The Mission 1 Esports number 9 trying to cut his way through the field. Back to the bottom goes Joey Duquette for the lead. It's been Duquette and Peacock battling since the beginning of this race. LaBeouf now going to punch his ticket into the top 3. He's going to join the battle for the lead, but not for long as they continue to race through the corner. Everybody now 10 laps to go before that stage break, and you can see him roar down the back straightaway here at the Michigan International Speedway, all fighting for spots as they go into turn 3. Back to the bottom goes Duquette. It has been Duquette and Peacock trading positions since the drop of the green flag, and sliding right up into the line goes the 16. That's going to make the 9 check up a little bit. That made the 18 of Keith Bradley also check up a little bit there. Lawrenceburg, Indiana driver for Mission 1 Esports running up here with his Mission 1 teammate Brady LaBeouf. Side by side as Keith Bradley gets into the wall. That forces the 51 of Michael Adamson to check down onto the apron. Adamson able to save it. He continues on now in third, but Keith Bradley gonna fall down to P7 now on the leaderboard. We'll join Jonathan Munda back here as well as the 86, Kyle Hess. Stephen Thomas in the 23 ahead, currently running in 6th. Elkview, West Virginia driver for Powerhouse Motorsports. Everybody single file now here at the front of this field. It'll be 7 to go in the stage this time. By top 10 will earn stage points, and those stage points prove to be crucial as coming off of the race in Texas. The stage points is what helped a lot of the drivers that got caught up in late pit strategy, like Stephen Thomas in the 23, be able to at least get some points out of that event. Jordan, the stage points are incredibly crucial for each of these drivers, and all these drivers in the top 10 and the drivers outside of the top 10 know that.
You know, definitely, and so you really got to be careful depending on how hard you want to race for those stage points like you were talking about, because you don't want to race too hard and completely knock yourself up, because you got a completely other half of the race to keep going, and so you really got to be careful. But if you're one of those racers who can race really hard and keep it clean, then go for it, because these points are crucial and you only got a few chances to get them.
You're on board with Joey Duquette as he races down the front straightaway. 3-car battle for this top spot right now. And you can see them all separated by just about a quarter of a second as they run through turn 2 onto the back straightaway. They run down into 3, and you can see everybody fighting as they go down into the corner. Stephen Thomas joining this fray. Jordan, he was your pick to win the race, and I would love to say it. He's up into 5th now. He started back in 8th, fell back a little bit for a moment, now running up here in the 5th spot. 3 from where he originally started the day. Make that up 4 as he goes into 4th place. He is looking for more spots here on the racetrack.
You know, he's got a little bit more to go within this first stage. He's making a run for it, Josh, as he seems like he's running it really, really clean. And like you mentioned, he's having a really good run for this first stage. And I'm excited to see how much he does within the next part of this race, because he's definitely going somewhere if he's making this much moves in one stage.
Taylor Peacock still leads. It'll be 4 to go in stage number 1 at the line. Can Taylor Peacock hold on to this lead? You're on board with him as you take a look back at Joey Duquette, who's going to give a huge shove into the corner for the 81. He'll stay in 2nd place for the moment. And as they run through the corner, there's Stephen Thomas in the battle for 4th. Gonna try and get by the 61. It looks like he's gonna be able to do it as he pulls him down the back straightaway. No, he won't. He'll slide back up into line into P5. With Stephen Gregory continuing the battle for third as he tries to catch up to Adamson up ahead of him. But here comes Stephen Thomas back to the bottom. The 23 going to try and take that spot away as he runs into turn number 1. 3 to go here in stage 1. Battle for fourth with Stephen Gregory ahead of Stephen Thomas. Off the corner, and a couple of drivers going to be fraying out. That's the 61 of Gregory going down now to the bottom of the 51 of Michael Adamson. Unfortunately for the third place runner currently in the 51, could not make that pass happen. Unfortunately for the 61, fortunately for the 51, the 61 wasn't able to make that pass happen. Here comes Brady LaBeouf to the bottom of Stephen Thomas. They're battling for fifth. LaBeouf, a very fast driver out here on the track, looking to continue to show that as they race through turns 1 and 2. Back to the back straightaway they go. Fraying out ahead, battle for the lead. Taylor Peacock back to the bottom of Joey Duquette, and he is going to retake that lead here for the moment. Can he keep that lead for the stage? Here comes Duquette back to the bottom. Side by side as they come across the start-finish line here at Michigan. The white flag is out here for stage number 1. This will be the final lap of the stage. They work their way out of turn 2. Duquette back to the lead as they exit the corner. Here comes Peacock back to the bottom. Who is going to walk away with this stage victory? It's Duquette and Peacock side by side as they run into turn number 3. Coming to the line, Peacock going to clear the 16. Is it going to be enough as they race to the checkered flag here in stage number 1? It will be Taylor Peacock grabbing the win. Joey Duquette in second. Michael Adamson, Stephen Gregory, and Stephen Thomas round out your top 5 as we go under the yellow flag for the first time tonight. It is the stage 1 break here from the virtual Michigan International Speedway. We'll take a quick break here on Racecraft TV, but don't go anywhere. When we return, results from the race off pit road as well as the restart here from virtual Michigan. Your stage 1 winner, Taylor Peacock. Welcome back to the virtual Michigan International Speedway. You're tuning into coverage of the NASRA Triple M Pulling Truck Series live on Racecraft TV. Joshua Lee, Jordan Nix back with you here in the booth as we get ready to go racing here in stage number 2. Stage 1 just concluding. Your stage winner was the 81 of Taylor Peacock, and a great run for that number 81 Chevy Silverado here in the first stage. And now we get ready for stage number 2, and Dana Shepard in the 43 staying out on the racetrack for the moment. We'll see if he dives his way into the pit lane, but it doesn't look like. Yes, he will. He'll dive into that Ford F-150. So Peacock will be starting from the lead. He did win the race off pit road. Joey Duquette, Michael Adamson, Stephen Gregory, Brady LaBeouf rounding out the drivers that raced off of the pit lane. So now this 81 is going to start at the front of the field, Jordan, but throughout the entire first stage, we saw a battle between Peacock and Duquette. Pretty much that entire first stage for all 20 laps. They were trading positions the entire time. Do you think they're going to keep that up here in this next stage? Because it didn't seem like they burned anything up. They were still able to race on lap 1 as they were on lap 20.
You know, definitely. They kept it both really clean, and I'm expecting a lot more battles to come with both of them, but you know, we got a lot of other drivers behind them that were constantly sticking with them. So I'm curious to see how this stage is going to go, but I really think that there's going to be a lot more battles this stage.
And we're getting ready to go back to racing here at the virtual Michigan International Speedway. Ready to see who is going to walk away with this stage 2 victory as the lights are out on the iRacing pace car. And we will see who's going to walk away with the second stage win. Can Peacock go 2 in a row for the stages tonight? He has chosen the outside line to start in. We'll see if that's going to pay off as the iRacing pace car will inevitably make its way down into the safety of pit lane. And we'll see who's going to get the best of them on this start. Going green on the lap number 25. It'll be 16 laps here in the second stage of the night. From the virtual Michigan International Speedway, we are back racing, and Taylor Peacock with a great launch at the head of the field is going to immediately start to pull away. And he will take the lead as Robert Richards with a great run in the 48. Damage to that back end, however, he's going to go into second place. Hopefully that damage to the back end, Jordan, isn't going to affect the aerodynamics of that race truck.
You know, he's having a great run as of right now. He's keeping it up in the top 3, so interested to see how long he can last with that damage in the rear.
Of course, the winner 1 week ago at Texas in the Mission 1 Esports number 48 is going to go for the lead, and he is going to grab it, albeit just for a moment. Peacock going to try and retaliate on the top line. Didn't work. The 48 going to drop to the bottom to throw a block. The 81 now going to use the outside line to try and go by side for the lead. Peacock's going to take it as they go back into 1.
And the 81's getting help with the 16, so they're having a really quick draft as the 48's left alone on the bottom. So, Josh, I'm pretty sure they're going to power through these few turns coming up next.
Here comes Duquette running there in third. The 64, Devin Painter joining the fray as well. Richards starting to fall side by side now for second as Duquette tries to come back on the outside. Side by side, the 16 and the 48. The 48 with a good run on the bottom. He'll go back to side by side with the 81 of Peacock as Peacock rolls the top line with help from Duquette behind. Put a blanket over the top 5 right now, all separated by about 3/10 as they go back to turn 1. Richards rolling the bottom really well. Not able to get around Taylor Peacock though, and now Peacock is going to continue to fight back on that outside line. How long can he fight on that outside line is the question, because here comes Duquette back to the bottom. The same 2 drivers we saw going toe-to-toe in stage number 1 are going toe-to-toe here in stage 2 as Duquette's going to take the lead away. 13 to go in the stage when they come across the line. And new faces starting to peek their way into this fray. Raul Meza in the 93 is now up here in that BP Racing for Autism number 93, up 15 spots from where he started the night in 22nd. Meza now in 7th. And Duquette trying to pull away with the lead for the moment, but not able to do too much as it is roughly about a 3-car battle for the lead at the moment. And Duquette leads this battle with Peacock and Richards behind. And not that far behind either, as everybody's stacked up under each other, diving back into one. It'll be 12 to go this time by the start-finish line. 3 wide for a moment further back. They get it settled out. No, they don't! Contact! LaBeouf gonna get sent down to the bottom. LaBeouf got sent to the apron. He was able to save it, but that could have turned into so much more off of that as we grab a Racecraft TV replay.
But yeah, it seemed like he got a little loose and made contact with another truck that was on the track. But a nice save for the 9 of LaBeouf right there as we continue green flag racing. But once again, you can see it again. He makes contact with the 64 and completely sends that 9 truck all the way to the left. But once again, a nice save as we're green flag racing still here at Michigan.
Luckily, not a lot done, not a lot of damage done to that number 9 of Brady LaBeouf. He will stay on the track as Joey Duquette continues to lead this field, and Taylor Peacock feeling pressure from the 64 of Devin Painter as Painter goes to the bottom. Gonna try and look for the second spot from Taylor Peacock. Side by side, it'll be 10 to go at the line here in stage number 2. Peacock giving a good shove to Joey Duquette in the 16. Peacock trying to take that lead with the 64 of Devin Painter. Wants to throw his hat into the ring as he's running up here in the 3rd spot. Great onboard shot with the 64 of Devin Painter as he dives into turn number 3. Painter's still going to keep that 3rd spot, but you can see further up Taylor Peacock in a battle with the 16 of Joey Duquette. Couple of drivers complaining about their cars starting to get a little bit tight on this racetrack as the tires start to wear off. And right around the outside goes the 64 of Painter. Move him up to P3. Great move by Painter to grab that spot away. He'll now be in 2nd. Looking to rival the 16 of Joey Duquette. Painter also up 15 spots from where he originally started the night. Jordan, he is on a mission. He might be able to get by the 16 here with 8 to go in the stage.
And you can see he's just using the draft off the 16 car, but seems like he gets a little washed up and pushed back per se on that turn. But he's coming back as he's trying to fight it on the inside line, and you can see they're pretty much side by side right now, I believe, as I'm curious to know if he's going to make this pass now or if he's going to wait. But it seems like he's going to the bottom, and Josh, he takes over the lead from the 16 of Duquette.
Pass made for Devin Painter, making his debut here this season. Is going to grab the lead as they run down the front straightaway here at the virtual Michigan International Speedway. The 16 of Duquette, however, is not done. He's going to tuck back in behind the 64. Not able to get close enough to be able to make a move. He'll fall back into the clutches of Taylor Peacock in the 81 as they race down the back straightaway. Here comes Peacock back to the bottom side by side for the 2nd spot. And that is Peacock that is going to barely get into the 16. That sends Joey Duquette into the wall. The 16 slams into the wall on the outside. And that is going to move Joey Duquette down the order. An unfortunate incident for that 16 of Joey Duquette, who got slammed into the wall. It moved way down the order. And the 16 avoids, luckily, other trucks, and we won't see a caution, but now he's down in 19th, Jordan.
You know, there's going to definitely be some temper flares after that one because, you know, if you're running in the top like that the whole entire race and that can happen to you, it's not what you want to, like, at all. And so he's definitely going to be a little frustrated with that. So I'm curious to see if he's going to make a really big fight coming back, and who knows when. It could be in these next few laps. It could be next stage. We just got to wait and find out.
5 to go here in stage number 2 before we head into the final stage number 3, where we'll see these drivers race to the checkered flag here from the Michigan International Speedway. And everybody's still fighting on the track for positions, and Taylor Peacock did not let that little incident with the 16 and Joey Duquette spook him. He is going to try and catch up to your race leader Devin Painter, but you can see Robert Richards there right behind him in that number 48. He is looking for the lead spot as well as they all continue the battle, but Michael Adamson in the 51 breathing down the 48's neck as they go into turn number 1. The 51 wants that third spot away from the 48. Through 1 and 2, and it looks like the 48 very quickly going to start to pull up to the back bumper. The 81 of Taylor Peacock will move on to an onboard with the 48 in the battle for second spot on the racetrack, and you can see he's catching up to Devin Painter as well. We'll stay on Robert Richards as we go to the battle for the race lead, with Painter and Peacock up in front of Robert Richards there in the 48. Off the corner. Richards gonna go to the inside of the 81, but the 81 slams the wall. Peacock gets into the wall this time off of turn number 2. He's going to lose a ton of spots. 2 of the fastest trucks all day, both getting into the wall. That's going to move Adams into second. That'll move Stephen Thomas now into third. That moved Robert Richards down in the 48. He moved him down into 6th place now, going right by Raul Meza, after he had a little bit of residual damage or residual contact from the 81 slamming into the wall. 2 to go in the stage. Here comes Stephen Thomas to fight for P2. What can Thomas do to try and make his way up to the front of this field? On board of the 23 as he tries to race up in front of him with the 51 of Mike Adamson. It'll be white flag this time by 1 to go here in stage number 2. The 64, Devin Painter, leads the way. We'll see if he is going to be able to grab the win here in this stage as we look back off the tailgate of his Ford F-150. It's a 2/10 gap back to Mike Adamson. And race back into 3. Adamson gonna look to the bottom. He goes all the way to the bottom, but it's not going to be enough. Off of turn number 4, a last-minute effort from the 51. He pulls up alongside the 64. He gets into him. He turns the 64. Into the grass goes Devin Painter. The 64 spins, the 51 spins. I'm not sure who won this stage, but we had a wreck coming to the line. Racecraft TV replay here, Jordan. Drama at the end of stage number 2 as 2 drivers get into each other. The 51 up into the 64.
Josh, I'm pretty sure the 23 got that because, you know, I was not expecting that to happen in stage 2 especially. That's something I would think to see in the final lap. And so you can see they're all the top 4 are running perfectly fine, but then the 51 just completely comes up into the rear end of the 64. But yes, I'm pretty sure the 23 of Stephen Thomas got the win on stage number 2.
We'll take a look now. Who got that stage win? I believe it was the 23 of Stephen Thomas. We'll go wide angle here. Take a look at them coming to the line. And the top 2 get into each other, and across the line, it was the 23 of Stephen Thomas who's going to walk away with that stage victory. But drama as they came across the line. We'll take one more good look at this incident. and it was just the 51 getting a little bit too far up. Maybe didn't thought the 64 was a little bit further up, and that sent him into each other. And that brings out the it didn't bring out the caution, but we are now under caution for the second time tonight for the stage 2 break. After Stephen Thomas grabs the win, we are over halfway done with this race now. Field's going to work their way into the pit lane, and we're going to see who's going to walk away with the race off of pit road. Who is going to win the race off of the pit lane? And we'll see if it will be Stephen Thomas here in the 23. As he will work his way into his pit box. And let's see if he can get a fast stop, get back out onto the racing surface. Left sides go up, 4 tires for the 23. He will be out and away right now. Good pit stop time, 14.6, and out he goes, and he will win the race off of the pit lane. So the 23 of Stephen Thomas will lead them back to green. Raul Meza in the 93 in second. Brandon Bullock is going to walk away with the spot in third in the number 17. It'll be Kyle Hess and Eric Zimmerman that round out the top 5 from the pit lane. So that'll mean that Stephen Thomas will start on the pole for the 3rd stage and the final stage of the night. They race to the checkered flag coming up next here on Racecraft TV. You're watching the Motor City 160 for the NASRA Triple M Pulling Truck Series, round number 2 of the campaign. Don't go anywhere, because when we come back, it's all green flag action. Welcome back to the virtual Michigan International Speedway. You're tuning in to Racecraft TV's coverage of the NASRA Triple M Pulling Truck Series live on Racecraft TV from iRacing's virtual Michigan International Speedway. Joshua Lee here with you in the booth alongside Jordan Hicks, and we continue to race through this race. And Jordan, a little bit of changes to the weather, not a lot though. Still 94-degree track temp, but the wind's starting to pick up. That could lead to some free race trucks, especially with the winds coming from the west.
You know, definitely, and especially with all those drivers that are very frustrated right now, because like we saw, the leader and the 51, I believe, they're both, I would say, pretty furious, and so this is going to lead to some very interesting racing here in the final stage, and I'm ready for it.
And I mentioned those winds from the west because when they're going through the corners here, going from the front stretch to the back stretch through turns 1 and 2, they are facing the east. And when they go through turns 3 and 4, they are facing the west. So they're going to have a bit of headwind through the middle of the 3rd and 4th corner. They're going to have a little bit of tailwind, freeing up those trucks through turns 1 and 2. Ready to go back to racing. It's Stephen Thomas leading the field to green. On this restart, we'll let you experience the sights and sounds of the NASRA Triple M Pulling Truck Series as we go Racecraft TV Sounds of Speed as we begin our stage number 3. Making a pass on Steven Thomas, the 86 of Kyle Hess. The Ford F-150 going to make his way into second place, but Thomas not done. Raul Meza to the lead off of that restart, though, as we begin the third stage.
You can see the 86 trying to make a move for the lead as, Josh, I believe this is the first time appearance for both of these drivers tonight, as they're both running P1 and 2 pretty well, as the 86 trying to go for the lead, but I don't know when he's going to do it because he's stuck behind the 93 right now.
Not a first appearance for Raul Meza specifically. He's a veteran of this series, but first appearance tonight here on the broadcast mainly, as he is now running up at the front of this field. And good for Raul Meza. He has put in the hours when it comes to this series, has been competing since day number 1, and he is still looking for a bit of hardware and still looking for that championship that has relatively eluded him as he runs his way through turns 1 and 2. The current leader of the race is a little bit of a battle starting to develop back here. Steven Thomas, Keith Bradley, Eric Zimmerman all battling for third out here on the racetrack. Keith Bradley stuck in the middle in the 18. And it looks like we have cars that are getting into each other a little bit further back, and one car smoking. The 81 of Taylor Peacock around, and the caution comes out. First time tonight we've had a caution for an incident. Peacock is around in the number 81.
Curious to see what happened, as there's multiple cars involved. So you take a look at the replay. But you can see the 81 running pretty well. Some cars checking up actually on the backstretch. And the 81 tries to come back up.
I'm not sure where the 81 got hit from. He got hit from the 46, I believe, right here. Yes, he did.
And so came down. Not clear.
So the 46 looked like he might have been involved in the fray that happened on the back straightaway here. We'll see what happened to Dale Adamson here in the 46, because I am very curious as to what exactly happened. Oh, it looked like the 76 made contact a little bit further up. That's Joe Nelson in the 76. He made contact with the wall, trying to see. Yeah, it looked like the 95 came up into him, Bill Lester, and that slammed Joe Nelson into the wall, and that created the chain reaction incident that we had there. And it sounded like a lot of drivers still relatively angry about that one over the iRacing voice chat. And we're back under the yellow flag. First one for a non-stage break here tonight. As we continue to run under the yellow flag, we'll take a short break here on Racecraft TV, but do not go anywhere. It is green flag action when we return, as you're tuning in to the Motor City 160 live on Racecraft TV. welcome back to live coverage of the Motor City 160 for the NASRA Triple M Pulling Truck Series, live on Racecraft TV. Joshua Lee here with you in the booth alongside Jordan Hicks, and we are ready to go back to racing here with 29 laps to go. And Raul Meza, your race leader, on the loud pedal. We are back underway as the 93 will lead him into turn number 1. Kyle S behind him in the number 86. Trying to catch up is Keith Bradley in the 18 on the outside. Stephen Thomas now going to dive to the inside, looking for third. Not going to be able to take that third spot away, but the battle for the lead continues. Kyle Hess to the bottom of Raul Meza as they fight their way down the back straightaway. And Hess is going to grab that spot. Can he hold on to the spot? Yes, he will. He'll go right by Meza. Can he slide up in time? Yes, he will. And Bradley gets into the wall. They're wrecking on the front straightaway. Bradley hits the wall. He came up into the car on his outside, and the caution flag flies.
Definitely not at all what the 18 or the other car involved wanted. I guess he just didn't really know if he was 100% clear or not, as we're going to take a look at the replay. So you can see the 18 trying to follow the 86. They seem pretty well right now. 93's running up at the top. But the 18 seemed to try and run the bumper, and up he goes, and into the grass he goes. Not at all what the 18 wanted.
Looked like Stephen Thomas might have picked up a little bit of damage off of this too. We'll grab another look. As they came onto this straightaway, it looked like, I don't know if Meza came down. They might have met in the middle a little bit there. I think they definitely met in the middle, because I do not think Meza changed lanes quicker than Bradley did, but Bradley also changed lanes to come up. But it looks like only 3 cars involved in this one: Meza, Bradley, and Thomas with a little bit of damage. So thankfully, it is not going to be a gigantic incident, but we do have cars coming down into the pit lane. Hess is in, LaBeouf is in, Zimmerman stays out, but it looks like the majority of the field is going to make a trip down into the pit lane. Jordan, it looks like everybody assuming they're good to the end off of this tank of fuel, so we only have a handful of stragglers staying out, but everybody else, mainly all the leaders, are in the pit lane.
You know, I definitely think it's smart now because, you know, Michigan's a huge track, so you really got to be smart on what you want to do with your tires and fuel. So I think now's the time to do it, and curious to see what everyone does with tires and what sort of strategies they have in mind.
It looked like Stephen Thomas elected to stay in the pit lane. He's going to grab a bit of repairs to his car and then get back out on the racetrack. Don't believe any quick repairs available to anybody this week. No, so 0 fast repairs available to any of the drivers here in this field, as we get a look at Michael McKinnon for Mission 1 Esports coming back onto the track in the number 13. So with 27 to go, that puts Eric Zimmerman now in the 94 up to the top spot in the BP Racing for Autism number 94, Frederick, Maryland driver. So that puts him now up into the race lead for the time being. We'll see how long he can hold that, and we'll see if he brings his way down into the pit lane, because he did pit 12 laps ago. He pitted under the stage brake. Brandon Bullock in the 17 actually pitted under that last caution that we had from the incident going down into turn number 3, or should say coming out of turn number 2 and going into turn number 3, as it was 2 separate isolated incidents that sort of blended into one. But Bullock pitted under that caution. He's on 5-lap-old tires. Lester and Zimmerman on 13-lap-old tires. And I should say also fuel tanks that are 13 laps down, because they will need to make a pit stop before that checkered flag flies. Everybody that just pitted under this caution, I believe, is good to the end. And that is going to start with Kyle Hess, who won the race off pit road in the 86. Everybody else in front of him did not come into the pit lane, so the top 6 drivers all electing to not come down into the pit lane on this caution. So that will put Eric Zimmerman to the front, Brandon Bullock on the outside, Lester, Newbert, and Williams rounding out your top 5 currently. Haven't talked about Steve Williams yet tonight. A good run for the number 24 so far, and the New Paltz, New York driver for Brotherhood Racing. Great effort so far, and he's looking to continue that on here tonight in that beautiful gold number 24 machine. Set to go back to racing here at the virtual Michigan International Speedway. It's Zimmerman and Bullock on the front row, Lester, Newbert, and Williams rounding out your top 5. 25 laps to go when we go back to racing here from the virtual Michigan. Pace car down and away. We go on board with the driver starting in 4th. It's Adam Newbert as they come to the line and take the green flag once more. What can the 6th car do from 4th? Bad start for the 6 machine. He's going to fall like a rock on the outside line, and everybody's going to train by him. There's the entire field going right on by the 6. The entire field going by a handful of cars. Here comes Kyle Hess trying to cut his way through the field, get back up to the front. Passing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars right now, side by side. Believe he's 3 wide. No, he's not. He is just side by side with the 95 of Bill Lester as they dive back into the corner.
And the 86, he just looks like he's coming in with a head of just storm, and just he's looking for that lead. And so, Josh, this was only the first lap, and he already made so many positions coming to the line as he's already back up to the lead. So this is going to make for an interesting battle here at the front.
The 94 is Zimmerman able to keep the lead. Kyle Hess is all over his back bumper now, but cars are starting to spin. The 95 of Bill Lester around in the middle of the pack, and the caution comes out. And I believe, even though the 95 just spun in the middle of the pack, we only had a 1-truck incident here with the 95 of Bill Lester. Let's see what happened as they came off the corner. The 9 car got into him. The 9 car spun, but look at that! That was the 23. I'm not sure who else, but 2 trucks just barely missed that incident. The 23 went high, and I'm not sure who was with him. It looked like, oh my goodness, I don't know who that is on the bottom. That was strange. That was the number 12 machine. They just barely missed this incident. You're on board with Trage right now in the 12. Look at that dive to the bottom. That is exactly what he needed to do to avoid that incident. What a move from Jesse Trage. We'll go on board with Stephen Thomas now. Goes right up high, barely misses the wall and barely misses the spinning but Bill Lester machine in the middle. So that puts us back under the yellow flag here from the virtual Michigan International Speedway. Zimmerman does come down into the pit lane now. So Kyle Hess will take the lead in the number 86. And that will start to drastically change the outcome of this race because, Jordan, take a look at that top 3. Kyle Hess, Brandon Bullock, Torrey Thompson. We haven't talked about any of them really so far tonight, mainly Torrey Thompson. A great run for the 88 so far. He is up 23 spots from where he originally started the night. And that's not it. Brandon Bullock up 25 spots from where he originally started the night. What about Kyle Hess? Up 13 spots from where he started the night. You go back, take a look at who's in 4th. It's Joey Duquette, who started on the pole. If anybody wants to get back up to the front, it's that number 16.
You know, definitely, when you start in the back and you make up so many positions like those drivers have, you got to feel good about yourself because with the amount of racers we have in here, they're all very, very well at what they're doing. And so it's got to feel good, and they're putting on a race right now. So they only got 22 to go. Josh, I'm looking forward to this finish because we've got some new faces up in the top.
And they will be looking to just continue their ride up to the front. And as they are now in the front, the number 86 is going to try and keep that lead. It's a Ford F-150 up front, then a Chevy Silverado, then a Toyota Tundra. That rounds out your top 3 currently out here on the racetrack. Looking to go green, I believe, with 20 laps to go, which means, Jordan, these drivers are going to be running out of time, and we saw a clean stage 1, we saw a clean stage 2, already 3 cautions here in stage number 3. Do you think the drivers are going to be calming down for these last 20 laps? Because we are halfway through the stage, and now 3/4 of the way through this race. Lights are out in the pace car. These drivers have been getting into a little bit more incidents here in this stage. They're starting to get a little bit more aggressive. Do you think they're going to start to calm down?
I would say they kind of will, but I really feel like they're all really antsy and just want to go for the lead, how some people are in, you know, your normal, maybe Class C series on the normal series page on iRacing. So I really feel like all these drivers are antsy and they just want to really fight for it, but I kind of feel like they'll calm it down, but maybe not, because it's just aggressive. And like you said, we've had 3 cautions this stage, and it's just getting started. So we're coming down to almost green flag here. I'm excited for what the rest of this stage has.
20 laps to go in stage number 3, 20 laps to go in the race here for the virtual Michigan International Speedway. Kyle Hess will lead the field to the green flag for the first time tonight. Brandon Bullock in second, Torrey Thompson, Joey Duquette, Cody Knott now going to be in 5th. That's the first time the 26 has been mentioned here in the top 5 so far. Madeira, California driver, up 19 spots from where he started the night, but you can see a lot of damage to the front end of that Chevy Silverado. We'll see if the 26 is going to be able to start working his way a little bit more up the field. Maybe Cody Knott will be in the running for the win at the end of this race. But 20 to go, and we are back green from Michigan. A bad start for Brandon Bullock on the outside. The 17 is going to start to fall back as they race to 1. Side by side, Bullock on the top side, Torrey Thompson on the bottom. Joey Duquette going to try and peek that nose in there in the 16. Where's Duquette going to go? He tries to go low. Is that going to stick? It might, as he's on the bottom side by side with Brandon Bullock, but he's going to lose the momentum down the back straightaway. Back into turn 3. He is going to get that spot on Bullock. Great moves from Joey Duquette. That'll move him up into the 3rd spot on the racetrack now for the 16. Now to try and chase down Torrey Thompson ahead of him. But Bullock's not done. He's tucked up behind the 16. Can he try and work his way around for that 3rd spot? You're on board right now with Brandon Bullock in the 17. They run back onto the front straightaway, and you can see Joey Duquette pulling away by a heavy margin over the drivers behind him. Cody Knott struggling from the 5th spot. He has been able to keep that spot right now in the 26. Is not able to gain any more time. Michael McKinnon, his first appearance up here at the front of the field. Actually, he started in 2nd place, fell down relatively early in the number 13 after an early incident. He's now just getting back up here to the front to start to battle with these drivers. Out in front, battle for the lead. Thompson to the bottom of Hess, and Thompson's going to take the lead for the first time tonight. But they're still side by side. How long is it going to stay, if it will? Thompson with the nose ahead at the start finish. Hess on the top side in the 86. 17 to go here from Michigan. Thompson trying to take the lead away. Side by side as they roar down the back straightaway. It's Hess that's going to keep the lead for the moment. But here comes Thompson back to the bottom. Hess running the outside, Thompson running the inside. They drag race down the front straightaway. It's still all going to be Kyle Hess leading at the line. But running back on the bottom, Torrey Thompson gets a great run through 1 and 2. He'll slide up in front of the 86 Ford F-150, and he is going to take that lead away. Hess gonna make a brash move back down to the bottom, going for the crossover. He peeks his nose in there, maybe a little bit of contact with the 29. They race back onto the front straightaway. The 86 of Kyle Hess going to grab that lead away. Here comes Joey Duquette in the 16, back to the bottom. He'll take second. A huge slingshot through the corner. He is looking for the lead, side by side for the race lead off 2. Slides back up in the line. Duquette's gonna stay in second place. Here comes Thompson to try and fight for third. It's all Kyle Hess leading the way right now, with the 16 of Duquette now on the outside for second. Bullock gonna rejoin this fight. McKinnon's gonna be in it. Cody Knott trying to fight from 5th. And they're side by side for second as Duquette pulls on the outside. 14 to go. Side by side, still for this second spot. Thompson not giving up on the bottom. Duquette not giving up on the outside. They almost make contact as they race down the back straightaway into 3. Hess still holding that lead out at the front of this field. And as they work their way off of 4, Thompson's going to get a little bit of an advantage for that second spot. Not enough as they still go side by side. Continuing to fight with the 16 of Duquette. They are coming up on a lapped machine. I believe it is Joe Nelson in the 76. It is not Jonathan Munda in the 00. It is Joe Nelson in the 76 that these leaders are going to catch up to. Kyle Hess, your race leader. Here comes Bullock. He's going to fight with Torrey Thompson down on the bottom of the racetrack. Bullock not able to do anything. Side by side, still for second is Duquette and Torrey Thompson. Bullock trying to throw his hat into the ring. So is Michael McKinnon. They can't get up into this battle. Multiple lap machines now ahead of these leaders. They'll move out of the way, but as they continue to go side by side, Kyle S. will continue to pull away. He'll go right on by the lap machines as Dane Hagen in the 39 and the 76 of Joe Nelson. They go right on by. How is this going to affect the battles further back here? First, the second place. Bullock gonna make a look to the bottom. Oh, contact! The 29 of Thompson comes right up into McKinnon. Torrey gonna spin down to the bottom of the racetrack. And no caution is called for the number 29. And the yellow flag is now gonna come out for this incident. Caution flag is thrown by the 13, by race admin Michael McKinnon, also driving the 13. Here's the replay. Thompson came right up into McKinnon there on the front straightaway, and that slammed both of them into the wall. And the 13 also slammed the inside wall there too, Jordan.
Curious to know what actually really happened there, because the 13 was up there just maybe, yeah, you can see the 29 didn't really know if he was clear or not. You can see the 23 collected a little bit of damage, and the 13 just went right into the inner wall. Is not what any of them wanted, but still a really, really weird caution. We're going to take another look at it. We're on board, I believe, with the 13. My bad. You can see the 29 just come down into him and then into the wall and spun into the inner wall. Not what the 13 wanted here. With about, Josh, I'm pretty sure like 10 or 11 laps to go. So we're coming down to the wire with not many laps in time to go.
Now, with 10 to go, will we see anybody make a faithful trip down into the pit lane? I'm very curious to see, because they might not be good to the end on fuel. They might be good. I believe everybody that pitted a little bit earlier on is good. Everybody looks to be at least somewhat decent on their stint numbers. We'll see if anybody chooses to come down into the pit lane, maybe for tires, maybe for fuel. Nobody out of these leaders electing to come into the pit lane. It looks like a handful further back. I believe that is Steve Williams in, and that is Brandon Bullock in. But everybody else at the lead pack, all electing to stay out on the racetrack. We'll have 2 laps before we go back to green. We'll take a short break here on Racecraft TV, but when we come back, it is green and commercial free all the way to the checkered flag here in the Motor City 160 in the NASRA Triple M Pulling Truck Series. Welcome back to live coverage of the Motor City 160 for the NASRA Triple M Pulling Truck Series. It's Joshua Lee, it's Jordan Hicks, back with you here in the booth. And Jordan, we're getting ready for what could be the final restart of the race. We'll see. These drivers have been racing very aggressive so far here in the final stage, but we're going green with 7 to go before that checkered flag. Do you think this 86 can hold on? Do you think Duquette's going to come right back to the lead?
You know, we've seen some interesting battles going on so far, so I truly think this is going to be a battle to the end as the pace car is heading into pit lane. As Josh, we are back racing here from Michigan.
Kyle Hess on the loud pedal early. Joey Duquette getting caught off guard. It's going to be a huge gap between Hess and Duquette as they race into one. Duquette going to be way down now as they'll fight into the corner. The 26 of Cody not going to dive down to the bottom, looking for second place on the 16. Will he be able to get close enough side by side as they race down the back straightaway here at Michigan? Not able to get that spot. He'll fade back now as to the outside goes the 9 of Brady LaBeouf. He's going to make his way now up into third. LaBeouf now in the 9, gonna run in third. Cody not starting to fall back. Is Hess still out front? It's Duquette and LaBeouf trying to catch up with 6 laps to go. Eric Zimmerman still in this fight in the 94. He's right behind everybody in this pack. As the 9 of LaBeouf gonna dive to the inside. Look for second on Duquette. They'll race through 3 and 4, and he is going to take that second spot away from the 16 of Duquette. But the 9 of Brady LaBeouf now up into second. Is he going to be able to make a move for the race lead? Can he catch him in time? Duquette gonna make another look down to the bottom. 5 laps to go. They need to start catching up to Kyle Hess, who is pulling away at the front of this field. With Hess out in front, that means that the 9 of Brady LaBeouf really needs to start to try and reel him in. Because he is that second place runner right now. And they're starting to get single file, Jordan. That is going to help them catch up, but Hess is in another zip code right now. He is running away with this lead.
You know, if anyone wants to make a change within that leader, they really got to make or break it, because they're slowly running out of time. And Josh, when you're really focusing on trying to catch the leader, those laps go by so quick. You can look up and you're already like wanting to go. So if you want to make a move, you got to make it now, and that's what the 9 needs to do as quick as possible.
And it did sound like a driver needed a black flag cleared. That penalty was for the 39 of Dane Hagen. Not exactly sure what happened to that 39, but he does have a penalty out there on the track. And we'll see if he'll grab that black flag clear, and the caution flag is going to fly. We're back under the yellow flag. Not sure for what out there on the racetrack. We had somebody start to go around. Don't know who it was. And we'll see if we can figure out who went spinning down on the back straightaway. Believe it might have been Bill Lester in the 95, but we do not know who got involved. Somebody stopped on the bottom. That's Joe Nelson in the 76. Stopped on the bottom of the racetrack out of nowhere here. And that brings out the yellow flag. So, that will put us back under the yellow flag. And we'll be heading into overtime here as well to finish out this race. Now, Jordan, I don't think we were really expecting overtime. Now we are in our first overtime restart of the season. So this is going to get, the pressure is going to be up to an 11, because Kyle Hess has been nailing these restarts, and he has to nail one more. He's going to have Brady LaBeouf, Steve Williams, Joey Duquette all in his mirror very quickly.
And you know, that's definitely a lot of pressure, especially when you're leading the pack. You just want to make that restart the best you can. And he already did it once, but he's got to do it one more. So hopefully he can, because he was leading a really good race, and he only needed a few more laps until he could take home that race victory. But now the pressure is on, and I'm curious to know if he's actually going to get it. But I truly feel, with the restarts we've been seeing him have tonight, I truly feel like the 86 can pull out a win here tonight.
And this will be the first attempt at a green-white checker. We will have 2 attempts tonight to get a successful green-white checkered finish, which means they take the green flag and they make it around to the start-finish line to the white flag without another caution coming out. If they're able to do that, then we will see the next flag be the checkered flag, and we will have a race winner. If not, if the caution comes out on that green flag lap, we'll rack them up again, and we will try one more time. Well, Kyle Hess leads the way, and I think, Jordan, it's safe to say a bit of a surprise leader, because the K&K Motorsports driver, we didn't talk about him at all at Texas. I don't think he competed in Texas. And then he comes into this race now running in the race lead and having a dominant truck too. We didn't see it in qualifying. He qualified in 14th. We didn't see it in basically any of the first 2 stages. He's coming alive here in the third stage of this racetrack, coming into the checkered flag.
And he's having a tremendous night. And so, Josh, there's not even any damage on the car, so he's been doing a tremendous job. And hopefully he can wrap it up with a win and just head that truck, in the 86 truck, in the victory lane, so he can even have a more perfect night but he's got to get through this final restart here tonight, which means everything.
And I was correct. He did not compete in Texas 1 week ago for round number 1, which makes this his season debut and might be starting his season off with a race win. Unfortunately, he'll be a little bit down in points because he got 0 points out of Texas because he did not compete. However, he is going to be able to get a good start to this season for him if he is able to grab this race win and, of course, walk away with a bit more playoff points. Getting ready to go back to racing. It's Kyle Hess leading, Brady LaBeouf in second, Steve Williams, Joey Duquette, and Eric Zimmerman rounding out your top 5 as everybody paces their way down the back straightaway here at Michigan, ready to go racing in overtime. 80 laps was the scheduled distance. We'll go green on the lap number 82. And we will end the race on lap number 83. It is the first green-white checkered attempt of the night, and we will see if it will be the only. We'll go on board with the 86 of Kyle Hess as he tries to walk away with his first win of the season from Virtual Michigan. Pace car is down and away. When is the 86 going to go? He chooses now. We're back racing. It's overtime from Michigan. A great start for Kyle Hess. The start that he needed. He'll lead the field into 1 by a considerable margin. Can LaBeouf catch up in time? You're on board with the 9 as he chases down the race leader. He is closing. Can he close enough? Off of turn number 4. Looking for that white flag. Across the line, they will be able to take it. 1 lap to go from Virtual Michigan. And Kyle Hess leading the way, trying to walk away with the race victory. Here comes Brady LaBeouf. What can he say about it from second place in the 9? He's right there within 2/10. Is he going to be able to make a pass for the race lead and the race win? Through turns 3 and 4. He'll make a last-minute effort to the bottom. Is he going to be able to make it happen? Off turn 4. Kyle Hess comes alive in the final stage to get his first race win in the NASRA Triple M Pulling Truck Series at Michigan. A great win for the number 86. What a night for Kyle Hess as he walks away a winner here in the NASRA Triple M Pulling Truck Series, and tonight walking away with that race win. A congratulatory bump from Brady LaBeouf. And Kyle Hess is going to come to the start-finish line and start burning it down. What a win for the number 86 in K&K Motorsports. On the front straightaway now for Kyle Hess, and he is going to celebrate with this victory. It was Robert Richards last week in the number 48 from Texas, and your second winner of the season is the 86 of Kyle Hess. Your race winner from the Virtual Michigan International Raceway is the 86 of Kyle Hess. And what a race for that number 86 it was tonight. Brady LaBeouf comes home in second, Joey Duquette in third, Jesse Schrage in fourth with Eric Zimmerman rounding out your top 5. Taylor Peacock, Bill Lester, Devin Painter, Stephen Thomas, and Tori Thompson rounds out your top 10. Cody Knott in 11th, Keith Bradley in 12th, Dane Hagen in 13th, Steve Williams in 14th with Raul Meza in 15th, Michael McKinnon, Brandon Bullock, Joe Nelson, Adam Newbert, and Mikey Williams rounding out your top 20. Dale Adamson, Robbie Richards, Clint Mata, Dana Shepard, and Jonathan Munda round out your top 25. It's Mike Adamson, then Scotty Stevens and Tanner Marr, Stephen Gregory, and Brett Wilvers rounding out your top 30, and all 30 drivers. Top 29 took the green flag. Brett Wilvers did not take the green flag here tonight. But what a race it was, and we'll wait for our race winner to work his way into our interview waiting room so we can pull him in here and hear his thoughts after an intense night here from the virtual Michigan International Speedway. Jordan, it was exciting racing from the drop of the green flag to the checkered flag. They were always aggressive from the start. They never really stopped being aggressive all the way to the checkered.
You know, it is definitely a long run here at Michigan because, Josh, I believe it's a 2-mile track, so these drivers kept their potential, they kept their mind straight, and turns out for a great finish, a great congratulations to the 86 of Kyle Hess on, I would say that's pretty much his season opener since he didn't kick it off in Texas, so what a win here tonight at Michigan.
And this being his season opener, it was a great effort and just a great overall run for the 86 of Kyle S. We will grab him in here in just a moment to hear his thoughts from tonight's race and what an incredible one that Kyle S was able to put together. And we have him up here in the booth with us now. Kyle Hess in the 86. Congratulations on your race win. You come in, first race of the season for you after missing last week at Texas, and you walk away with the race win. Congratulations.
Man, I appreciate it. It's like you said, it's my first time in here, and I'm so glad that I came away with this win.
And it was a hard... Continue.
No, I was waiting on you.
It was a hard-fought battle all the way through the race. We didn't really hear about you much through stages 1 and 2. You qualified back in 14th, but then it seemed like in stage 3, your truck came alive and you were right up there at the front and pulling away from the field at that.
Yeah, and I think it's the first stage. I kind of got up into the wall and it killed my momentum. Killed my momentum. It took me back to like 19th or 20th for the end of the first stage. Then during the second stage, I started getting my momentum back and coming through the field. And third stage, I could see the front, and I was going for it.
And going into the remainder of this season, we're transitioning from a huge racetrack here at Michigan to 1.5 miles of Kentucky. Can you keep up this winning streak and get a win over there?
Man, I believe I can. I'm pretty good at Kentucky. These guys in this league are pretty good bunch of racers, so it's going to be a tall order to take care of in Kentucky.
Anybody else you would like to thank here on Racecraft TV?
I'd like to thank Michigan One Esports. They brought me in for this, and what a way to really start it out. K&K Motorsports is who I've been running with for 4 years. Shout out to Carrie back in Arizona. She's been with me for 4 years. She does my paint. She gives me motivation to do these kind of things. The league, I appreciate the league for putting on what they do. And it sucks I can only run part-time. If I could run full-time, I'd be definitely running for a championship.
Thank you very much for joining us here in the booth, and congratulations on your win.
Man, I appreciate it. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you very much. That's Kyle Hess in the 86, your race winner here from the virtual Michigan International Speedway. And we transition to second place finisher Brady LaBeouf in the 9. Brady, hard-fought battle. You had an opportunity there late, but it just wasn't enough. Seemed like a bit of an up-and-down day for you in the number 9 machine today.
Yeah, absolutely. Just between the damage between other trucks, and I just didn't have the tires at the end for Kyle.
But you did give it just a last-minute effort, and you made a dive down in turn number 3. Did you think you would even be in that position? Because you talked about the damage. Do you think it was all over there closer to mid-race, and then you just had to try and continuously fight back up to the front?
Oh, absolutely. That caution that came out, I think, around lap 50 is when we pitted. And then the one after that, I was all the way in the back, and I just got held up by everybody. So I never thought that I would be able to make it back up to second place.
And then we're heading to Kentucky next week. How confident are you there that you can try and walk away with your first race win of the season?
Well, I'm just going to enjoy this race here and start practicing for Kentucky.
Anybody else you'd like to thank here on Racecraft TV?
Yeah, especially you guys, Racecraft TV, for everything you do for our league, and do a great job, and we appreciate it. Michael McKinnon, who helps me out, Taylor Peacock, Keith Bradley, Mission One Esports, NRE Power Systems, and the wife and kids.
Thank you very much for joining us here in the booth post-race. That's Brady LaBeouf, second place finisher in the number 9. And we bring up now, I think, the most dominant driver of the day, always found up front today. It's the 16 of Joey Duquette. Joey, you were battling with the lead in the entirety of stage 1, entirety of stage 2, and then you just got shuffled back in the pack in stage number 3. What happened there mid-race?
During the beginning of stage 2, me and Peacock got together and ruined my trip.
And of course, you guys getting together there, unfortunately, led to that damage. How much did that affect your race truck?
It affected me a lot. I couldn't keep up with anybody. I'd get behind them, and I couldn't suck up into anybody anymore. I'm just glad that I got that third place finish, and I'm shocked myself that I kept the truck up there as close as I could.
How much does this third place finish motivate you now going into Kentucky, going into the remainder of the season? Because this was a great run for you, pretty much leading throughout the entire race, except for towards the end of there in stage number 3. Do you think you can keep this momentum up for the rest of the season?
I hope so. This was the last race for Pulse Poppers, and we're switching to Warrior Apps Racing. And I just want to do good for them, and hopefully keep the top 3s, the top 5s coming, and maybe hopefully eventually a win at Kentucky. I'm pretty good at there too. I was looking really forward to this race. I knew I had a fast truck in the beginning of the race, and I knew I could have kept up with the guys. I just wish I would have been able to battle with Casey there for the end. Anybody else you would like to thank here on Racecraft TV? Pulse Poppers Racing. He's a great. Cody's great. Dane, Jesse, them guys are great. I'm just glad to be here for the ride, and I want to thank also my family and my friends for supporting this habit of mine. So,
thank you very much for joining us in the booth. Congratulations on your third place.
Thank you. You guys have a great night.
Great to hear from all of our top 3 finishers here in the post-race show. And Jordan, we're heading to Kentucky. Very, very different than Michigan. Do you think we might see a lot of the similar faces back up front there?
You know, I would say so, but it all depends on how these drivers go into it. So if they have a clear mindset and they really want to just focus, then maybe. But it's going to be interesting because it's a new track, new place, and you know, you never know. You could have a new winner every single week, but it could also be the same. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, we hope to see you in 1 week's time from the virtual Kentucky Speedway when we go racing for the 3rd round of the NASRA Triple M Pulling Truck Series season. And we thank you for joining us here from virtual Michigan. For my colleague in the booth, Jordan Hicks, my name is Joshua Lee, and we are saying good night from virtual Michigan. We'll see you in 1 week from virtual Kentucky.